to
Elon Musk very well could be about to pump some of your guys' favorite altcoins. Markets are sidelining like a hospice network, also known as Hex here. Guys, today we're going to be jumping into which cryptos can explode if they get integrated into X payments today. So make sure you guys stick around. It's time to discover.
Capital flight is coming to the United States. The dollar is going to zero.
And that's what makes Bitcoin so special. You have to have gone through a couple cycles to understand.
Once the price is able to clear this level, the breakout is on its way.
This is your indication to jump in now.
Good morning, Discover Crypto. Markets are trading sideways. I see a few in the chat right now saying another dump is inbound, maybe right around the corner. So today we're going to be diving into some of our favorite altcoins. Of course, the altcoins that can be accumulated and potentially pump here in the very near future. But DZ, how are we feeling today? Markets are, again, a little bit sideways, but hey, I'm feeling jittery. I'm feeling like I should just jump all in.
I'm feeling good as well. You know, I just got some good news and I'm going to announce that at the end of the show, but I'm looking CoinGecko right now. They took me to CoinGlass. I guess we go here a lot, and the markets are down, but you know, when you look at the entire market cap, it's only down 0.3%. Should we really get that upset about 0.3%?
Not at all. Like I said, we're going sideways here today, guys. So we're at this moment where, you know, again, it feels like that mid 20K level where we couldn't necessarily break through that 30,000, but we kept breaking maybe back down to 25K. I think very potentially we could be moving into new sideways action right here where it's, you know, hey, accumulation phase all over again. This feels like October of 2023. But on the hour, guys, here, we have Bitcoin at 39,800, so below 40K at the moment. Ethereum now below $2,200. We have BNB below 300. Solana below the $90 mark. That is criminal right there. You have XRP stabilizing right here. Stabilizing at that 50 cents. Seems like it's always at that 50 cent range. Cardano still below 50 cents. Avalanche as well breaking below 30 now. Now, in the top 24 hours, though, guys, we do got some movers. Nothing crazy today, but BitSensor up about 7%. OKB up 5%. IOTA, 5%. Manta here. Manta, we're going to be talking about a little bit in stream today. They have, obviously, a lot of announcements. They have a lot of TVL, but there are some key things you might want to watch out for moving into March this year. But overall, Layer 2 is absolutely popping off right now. And then, of course, we got Stacks, a favorite from the Bitcoin ecosystem, Maker, and Helium, which is one of the leaders in that Solana ecosystem and the DPIN movement, decentralized physical networks. If you don't know what that is a beautiful buzzword that very well might pump this bull run. We have an entire video actually dropping on that on this channel here very, very soon with our favorite DPIN picks and what that actually means. What does that entail? Because guys, as artificial intelligence starts to ramp up, we need more cloud computing. We need more rendering. We have all this AI advancement. We're going to need this industry. In the losers though, okay? In the losers, we have Sats, Ordinals, guys, down 10%. Celestia, TIA here, down 6% in the last 24 hours. Now down to $15. I believe did it hit $20? I believe TIA did hit $20 at one point.
I'm pulling it up right here.
Something
Yeah,
like
it was, flirted right above it. Pennies above.
Pennies above. So it did break it. It did touch it. It tickled it. And now it's coming down just a little bit here for a good little bit pullback. We have INJ Injective Protocol, one of the best performers of this bear market, down 6%. Blur is always in the top 10. It doesn't matter if it's up in the 24 hours in the top losers, but I feel like Blur is always sitting up there with Beam as well. And then, of course, Ordi, Frax, and Ton, guys, are going to be some of the top losers for the industry today. Again, we kind of just bounced off that 38. We jumped a little bit higher. And now these, altcoins, some of them are getting small little pumps here. But again, I think we're in that sideways category right now.
Speaking of one more coin, Caspa is now below 10 cents again. I need
Red
to go
alert.
ahead. What?
Red alert.
Red alert. Nick, what do you feel about Caspa under 10 cents? Is Caspa under 10 cents a buy?
But I don't know yet.
Don't know yet. Oh, you know what? I respect
know.
that. I respect that. All right, if we go to all time, I do want to see it. It got close to 15 cents right now, just hovering around a dime, but still pretty nice parabolic run up. I can see it coming down a little bit lower, maybe coming down to close to where this trend line will be around the 7.5 cents. Well, it'll be one to watch. I know I missed out last time trying to get in significantly lower than a nickel. I think I wanted 3.9. It was there very briefly. I didn't pull the trigger, and then I was just like, well, I missed my opportunity. 4.3, got really close to the 3.9 buy range, and then once it went there, kind of just gave up. But now I'm starting to see maybe one more opportunity to jump in.
Yeah, definitely. We have even Army Piper pointing out today, getting mixed market response from GDP and job cuts, though. or this morning. One thing's for sure, Fed rate cuts not likely until June or July. So we'll actually be covering a lot of that later in this episode today, or in the show today. And the Fed rates is something we definitely want to pay attention to. But you put out a very good point, because as we approach these rate cuts, we're also approaching this Bitcoin halving, which we got some really cool TA we want to cover with you guys today. Now, I did want to go over the 7 days, though, here, just to make everybody realize where we're at in these markets. Again, if you're somebody that was looking to buy in at 49K or at this, this top hype and peak of the ETF rally, guys, look at this, 35%, 30% on Ordi, Mina Protocol, 22%. And if you go down the last 30 days, a lot of these projects are actually down even 40 or 50%. So there is a lot of discounts on this market. Definitely something I'm going to be wanting to watch out for. And in the last 7 days, there is some heavy movers. You have BitSensor up 36%, and Manta actually in price discovery, it's continuously hitting new all-time highs right now. So there is a little bit of movement.
Mana to $4.
Mana to $4.
I'm saying it. Mana to $4 in the short term before we get to the big pullback after TVL exits the ecosystem. That's in March, so we got time.
I wonder who it was. I feel like I saw it was either on YouTube or Twitter. Someone saying they think Mana to $20 is bull run. I was like,
Ooh.
Wow, coming out with some fire right now.
I don't hate that.
I don't either. And we have if you guys actually didn't watch the video we just dropped last night, we did like top 5 underrated cryptos, going over volume, metrics, updates, that type of stuff. I can just give you a hint. You want to watch that video. But guys, the first article we have today, Bitcoin holds above 40K. That aged like milk. It's a little bit below right now, but ahead of the U.S. gross domestic product. Or gross domestic product. So you have, I can't speak this morning, 5.8 billion in crypto options expiry. Now, scrolling down here, Bitcoin, let's get rid of this giant SIBO ad on the right. Bitcoin looked to establish a foothold above $40,000 during Thursday's European trading hours, with the dollar index trading flat ahead of the highly anticipated U.S. fourth quarter gross domestic product GDP data. So for you guys that don't know, this is going to be a pretty big metric that can just help a lot of these analysts analyze where we're going to be approaching these rate cuts. And if you guys have been in crypto, you're probably somebody that has been saying, okay, you've seen the charts, right? You've seen what happens every time the Feds decide to cut their interest rates. Generally, it is followed by a pretty significant recession. Now, this year is, in my opinion, quite different, because I feel like we've been hearing these recession talks like nonstop since 2021. And I personally know a lot of YouTubers, a lot of analysts that have been sidelined since 2021, while markets continuously just kept going and going and going. Now your stock markets are hitting all-time highs. And there's a lot of bullish articles we'll break through down through this today. But traders have been rethinking prospects of early Fed rate cuts amid the ongoing inflationary crisis in the Red Sea. According to the Fed funds futures, traders now see a 50% chance of a Fed rate cut in March, down from 80% over a month ago. Further adjustments may be seen later today following the release of the US GDP, which is going to be at 1330 UTC. Is it already out this morning? The data is expected to show the world's largest economy GDP at a 2%. So if it's worse than 2%, it's going to be quite bearish. Better, again, this is going to help them analyze what they're going to do with the rate cuts moving into Q2 or late Q2 or Q3. So how this impacts, obviously, Bitcoin, guys. This is going to lead into a lot of the correction topics. There's a lot of people out there now saying that we could potentially be going to $30,000. We can go to $20,000. Yes, I have seen that. There's been Twitter spaces with tens of thousands of people that are covering this. So are we going to be bracing here for a strong Bitcoin correction? And here's why. A weekly chart close below the $38,000 mark may indicate a potential downturn for Bitcoin. I love how many possibly may, quite
Are
possibly,
they hedging?
Maybe potential.
There's a lot of those words here, a lot of word salad, but with a focus on the robust support cluster situated around 33,000. So this has been a huge target. We're in an upward trading, just channel at this point. A lot of people think we can come down to 33K. Of course, you've even seen me talk about this with liquidations. There's a lot of liquidity sitting at that range where it could be a significant area of support. So the thing I'm personally watching out for is really going to be just the market sentiment of where is everybody's fear and greed currently. If everybody starts at 38, 37,000 saying, hey, yeah, we're really, really, really bearish, ultimately that is generally where you can start to find these local bottoms. And exactly why, with 600 of us watching right now, we want to close that gap, guys. We're done with CME gaps. So we already closed the CME gap.
Nice.
Make sure you guys close that gap on the like button below this video, guys. Let's get that up to 300 easily here today. The convergence of these factors establishes a noteworthy line of defense that has the potential to impede further declines in price made in crypto. In December of 2017, he's using some old charts here. Bitcoin experienced a surge in value in anticipation of the commencement of Bitcoin futures trading, only to undergo an 84% correction subsequently. A parallel occurrence transpired in October of 2021 when flagship crypto witnessed an upward trajectory preceding the approval of the Bitcoin futures ETF. So, we don't need all these fancy buzzwords, guys. Went up because of the announcement of the futures ETF, went down because of the rumor by the rumor to sell the news. And then again, we saw that with the ETF recently, again, starting to drop off due to the news announcement here. So, all we're really going to want to be paying attention to here, I'm going to pull up a bunch of charts, guys. Are whales accumulating? The biggest topic in the industry right now is Grayscale Bitcoin Trust adding more and more Bitcoin to Coinbase to sell off against us in this downtrend. And so when you start to see whales, dumping on retail investors, it's because they bought the entire bear market, guys. They bought when FTX collapsed. They bought all the way through the last year. Now they're significantly in profit. They're going to be selling on us. And, retailers are the dumb money. That's what they refer to us. Why? We react very emotionally to these markets. So when you start coming down to 30K and all the retail starts panicking again, that's generally what happens to that market. The whales and these institutions that now have these products are going to be accumulating.
Yeah, they're going to hunt for those max pain points. And I like how they say, they want to inflict max pain on traders, meaning, the big money is coming up to gobble you up like a whale swallows plankton. These large billionaires are going to swallow you up if you're not careful. But we do have a bullish contrarian signal. It's not all just downturns amid the parabolic trendline formation. This is according to Kevin Svensson. And he's on a up. We're saying we're on an uptrend despite the sharp drop from its high of nearly $49,000. He's saying he remains bullish despite the negative sentiment here. Bitcoin currently inside of a classic expansion phase, a contraction phase, followed by an expansion phase, followed by a contraction phase, and now the next halving is coming in an expansion phase, coming in with an A, B, C, D, and then E is going to be looking pretty good here. So generally, I am maintaining a bullish bias, and I think he had we also have a price target, I think someone has, right?
Yeah, we have
Bitcoin.
$60,000 price target. I actually am going to be in this ball court right here. CoinShares predicted $60,000 for Bitcoin in 2024. You see how quickly the titles and the narrative shifts with the hype
and I just
cycle?
opened along. I just opened along on Bitcoin because, I read that article and now I'm bullish.
I mean, honestly,
Like
low leverage long. I'm long on Bitcoin overall long term, but we went from the 250,000, the 170,000 crazy price predictions. Now the articles are kind of pulling back in, saying 60, 60, maybe 70K here. But in this article, guys, CoinShares highlights the recent launch of the spot Bitcoin ETFs in the US is a significant development. This milestone is a decade since the initial SEC filing and has expanded the market to a broader range of investors. So, of course, they're just typically saying that due to the right here, while Bitcoin typically exhibits a negative correlation with the US dollar, CoinShares observes that this correlation has increased recently. This trend is often seen during periods of monetary policy changes or market stress when investors flock to more stable assets. However, CoinShares expects this trend to be temporary and predicts that Bitcoin will return to trading inversely to the US dollar within the next 12 months.
All right, we got a super chat from Morgan Powell. I might have to. All right, love the show. All right, well, we appreciate it, and thumbs up back to you. Thank you very much. We do have Kelly waiting in the wings. We want to talk about this trading. We're looking at this liquidation heat map, Kelly, and people are getting wrecked out here. Total liquidations, more people getting liquidated going long versus short. About a 5 to here we're looking at a 15 to 1 ratio. So yeah, people are getting wrecked out there. I just opened a long. If we want to share my screen, just open it, caught this wick down here. I saw that it was, kind of hitting close to some of these levels, and I have my stop loss. I could put my stop loss below that wick. I think that might be a little bit too bearish. I like to keep my losses at a minimum here, and we're in the green. We're in the green. As soon as we get close to these levels, Kelly, I'm gonna go ahead and move this stop loss into profit. Oh, we're not gonna do it because it'll close if I do that. But just keep the streak continuing, man. How are you doing today, Kelly? Are you in a trade?
I'm doing great. I'm in some trades right now. I don't have that exchange open, but a couple things I wanted to talk about. That you just mentioned, Josh, the recent tops we've had in the past with big news like the futures ETF, the futures opening, but then also the futures ETF marking local market tops. But we also have to think in context of where it was in the market cycle when those things occurred. Those were near where a scheduled some sort of top might have been anyway. So that just marked also the parabola into it and then the sell-off. Where we're at right now contextually is coming into the halving. Now, there are some bearish outlooks to look on the chart. I want to point those out, but I'm actually very bullish today. I'm going to start with the bear and go to the bull. And that is this chart right here that has some people shaking in their boots. And this is showing this 200 SMA, simple moving average wave retest, essentially showing this price action coming down and testing this each of the last cycles. But, you know, is this time different? I do believe this time is a little bit different in relationship to where we're at in concert with where the halving is, but also with the global awareness of what's going on. Similarly, we also see a lot of whales that have been withdrawing from exchange. We did see some selling pressure. I brought this up yesterday with the miners that were selling into this local top that we just had, but we're seeing whales now moving coins off of exchange. In addition to this, we also see over 12,000 Bitcoin buys on a daily basis so far of the new Bitcoin ETFs that just went live. Now, the question is going to be with this, how long will this persist? Is this just a rotation of capital out of Grayscale? And on that note, before I go into any more charts, I wanted to ask y'all's perception on this, because one of these things that we have to consider is the fact that the GBTC trust and that negative premium that some people are saying was being played, and now they're closing that, and also maybe it's some management fees, but this rotation of money out of Grayscale into these other ETFs, or even maybe out of the market. There's a bit of a time delay beyond this T-1 or T+1, T+2 sort of time frame, because when you think about the GBTC trust, that's a traditional asset. It's in the traditional finance plumbing, right? So as people close out their positions in that, it's going to take anywhere from 4 days to 2 or 3 weeks to really get a grasp of how much of that capital gets out, and then transacted back into their account, and then able to even be redeployed into an ETF, or maybe remain completely out of the crypto market entirely. So I think there's going to be some stuff there. Do you have any thoughts on that, Josh? Do you have any sort of speculation on what sort of percentage of that moving out of Grayscale will actually get redeployed into ETFs?
I mean, it's a fantastic question. I would argue that the majority of it, I would be taking profits. They were buying at discounts the entire bear market. So that's where we have seen a lot of the sell-off here. Now, is the sell-off as actually significant as the exaggeration that's taken place due to the emotional reaction? That is a question I would have, because at the same time, you now also have Mt. Gox starting to open up in the next 2 months, right? And, I've been doing a lot of research into that, and there's not a lot of confirmation in the sense, okay, are they going to be paying out in Bitcoin, or is their Bitcoin actually stolen? And if you want your Bitcoin back, you're going to have to actually say, hey, we want Bitcoin. They're going to have to buy that Bitcoin off the exchanges or through OTC, then send it back. So at the same time, we have Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. I feel like it's being compiled with just more FUD from FTX, which was through Grayscale as well. And then now the Mt. Gox. Now, Grayscale, I think that's going to diminish pretty quickly. I don't think that's going to be what sent us to 34K. And even though that's an argument right now, but what I would primarily pay attention to is, like, again, I think the exaggeration from that, because if Mt. Gox comes out within the next 2 months, within the next 60 days, and goes, oh yeah, actually we're paying out everybody in USD or Japanese yen, that could mean the people that want their Bitcoin back, they've been holding for 99,000%. They've been holding Bitcoin since it was pennies. So to me, it doesn't make sense that they, which are going to have like another $7.8 billion, which would, I think, even be a little bit more than Grayscale. It wouldn't make sense to me for them to want Bitcoin back if they're going to cash out, unless they were planning on maybe taking some of that profit and then letting the rest ride with Bitcoin. So, and then again, that might mean that Mt. Gox actually has to purchase that Bitcoin. So right now, again, I'd have to say, I think it's over exaggerated to an extent. I think the market has priced in a lot of it. Does that mean we're out of the woods yet? No, I think we can trade sideways for quite a bit. And 1 or 2 fear events that take place in the next 2 weeks could easily send us to the downside. And 1 or 2 bullish events in the next 2 weeks could easily send us right back up to 42K.
I mean, that marks it perfectly. And then we see that in the chart right now as it's going sideways and it's not picking a direction. There's a lot of underlying bullishness, but that's met with an equal amount of uncertainty and also some fear in there. And when we look at this on the charts, one of the things that hasn't happened yet is we have not had any uptick in global liquidity. And this is essentially really the strongest fuel that we can get for risk markets, despite anything going on with ETF and all that kind of stuff. Similarly, think about where we're at in relationship to the halving. If we look at this on a seasonality basis, this is Q1, all these red bands, but look, this is a halving. Let's look at where we're at in Q1 back here. Had a bit of a pullback into 2 pullbacks pre-halving. Where we're at right here, large pullback, and then the black swan pullback in 2020. Where we're at right now, we never got any sort of large move. We talked about this yesterday with that 40% or more pullback. Will we get a small pullback here, a push up into the halving, and then another bit of a subsequent sell-off? Well, and I just wanted to bring this to everybody's attention because you guys mentioned this yesterday. Really quick, Altcoin Daily posted this. Quick look at why the halving is so important. This is money right here. This is a schedule of reduction in new supply on Bitcoin in 4 charts. You see this 2009, this was a rewards, 2012, 2016, 2020, 2024. This is having an impact on price over time, and we're seeing this. So when we talk about all this, we're also talking about, you mentioned profitability. I shared this in the Bitlab newsletter last week, these high levels of the percentage of people in supply in profit. And we were talking about a potential pullback. And we see that right here on this grayscale chart updated, not grayscale, sorry, Glassnode. This is pulling back significantly right here. The question everybody's trying to figure out is how much more is it going to go? Well, we have the dollar index right now that had this little bit of resurgence that really it basically correlates to about when we're getting this pullback as well. Not only do we get a little bit more of a push up here into the beginning of the year with the price action on Bitcoin that was met by the ETF speculation, that actually went contended with this rise in price or the rise in value of the dollar. But we're getting a little bit of stagnation here, and we're getting a lot of bearish signals here, potentially coming up into a level that if we see this roll over. Why are you looking at this, Kelly? We want to look at crypto because this is telling you, is money going into risk assets or is it coming out? If this is coming up, it makes it harder for Bitcoin to move up. So when we look exactly where we're at right now, this is that target that you're talking about, that $34,000. Will it ever come? Will we break below this? I'm leaning more and more like this is becoming more of a dream buy opportunity as we hold around this area. I think we may even have a likelihood on a weekly basis to have a wick that comes down into here and that gets eaten up fairly quickly because of so much underlying bullishness.
All right, not to cut you off there, Kelly, but yeah, speaking of wick, look at this 5-minute candle. This thing is just moving, baby. We got a Bitcoin having a nice little upside on the short term here. There we go. So yeah, we are definitely in profit right now. We might as well just go ahead and just guarantee, let's lock in some profits. We're going to come in a little bit below that wick right there. So yeah, I just wanted to point out a lot of people getting excited. Nice little short-term bullish action. Those people that like the 1-minute charts, there's nothing wrong with you.
And shout out to Chronic also for joining, guys, and subscribing, guys. If you guys want those special emojis, we got a lot of secret ones coming out from me here soon as well, probably by the end of tomorrow. But ultimately, guys, you guys get the private memberships, the Q&A and everything. And then, in those Q&As, guys, that's where we're making these trades, showing you the hidden gems, using Blofin, and showing you the leverage trades that we're using. So if you guys want to access that, make sure you hit that join button on the video. But Kelly, you pointed out a great point. You said this is almost seeming like hopium, going back down that rate. It's like a dream to purchase at that level. So, as we anticipate, markets just coming into the next 2 to 3 weeks, what is that key level, I would just say, just to wrap up on the weekly, that we really need to focus on to hold if we're going to end up actually being bullish or bearish in the next coming days?
Well, I'm looking right here again, this 34,000, I'm having a limit order set here in case it gets there, but there's a strong likelihood that we never get down there. I think holdings in the 37.3 to 37.4, 37.3 to 38.4 region right in here would actually make a pretty strong case. And it would also go against a lot of historical trends of having that huge pullback, but maybe we just keep getting these 20% pullbacks on the way up. Just remember, the trend is your friend into the end, and we are in this macro trend that is seeing these rises. Look for these dips. You may not get all the way down to where you want to, so take your shot and get in the Discord. People are calling it out. We're calling it out. Our team's calling it out, breaking these things down. And of course, make sure you check out the Bitlab
Academy. Actually, pull up the Discord real quick. Pull up the Discord again. Guys, if you want the hidden gems, if you actually click on the JJ calls right there, we do got a brand new video out there as well. This is where we're sharing our insights and our thoughts on upcoming projects, guys. So if you want to get in there and find those new cryptos, the ones that we're researching together, that we, they're for research purposes and educational purposes only, That's where you want to be. That's where you get the most prime alpha source of information. So make sure you guys hop in that Bitlab Academy. And shout out to Kelly again here today.
My last DZ trade was 100% gain. Last one was in there. It's 100% gain.
You get access to this, but we have the free area.
I only put in 200 bucks.
To get access to this, all these great premium channels, you just head over to Bitlab Academy right here. Click enroll now. Join us in there. We got the best community. All of our entire Discover Crypto teams in there and a lot of pro traders. So that's all I got. You guys get on with the show. I'm going to go set up Bitlab.
Appreciate you, Kelly.
Appreciate it, Kelly. Max B with a question. Will $500 bring a substantial return in Bitcoin if I invest in the dip before the halving? Substantial returns for any traditional investor, anybody who's, playing the stock market. Yeah, it's going to be substantial returns, but we think there's going to be better returns. And if you're really trying to turn that $500 into something that can change your life, keep watching this channel. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button on this video, and we're going to try to put you on the path to financial freedom.
And some alpha here too on the charts. I wanted to show one last thing as we do see this pullback right now that we're currently in. Are we going to go lower? Maybe, right? Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But in the last halving that we had, there was a special occurrence that changed markets forever. And that, of course, was going to be the specific government shutdown that we had due to certain diseases here. But so when we had that massive sell-off months before the halving, all I wanted to point out here was, guys, leading up to days before the actual halving event takes place, there was a sell-off. It was buy the rumor, massive, massive, massive gains. And then check it out, guys, another 20% dip even coming up to that Bitcoin halving. So just remember, guys, buy the rumor, sell the news. That's going to really help you lead as you guys dollar cost average these markets in the future. Now, going to the most bullish article of the day, okay? Again, there's so many things happening in crypto. When people sit here and they go, how's that crypto thing going? It's probably going to go to zero, right? That
typically when your friend comes out the woodwork or your family members, they're gleeful that it's bad. And so, they're kind of like happy about it. Like, so I heard that Bitcoin thing failed. Part of it is they know that they missed out, and they're kind of paying attention in 2021, and they're like, that wacky family member of mine did tell me to buy Bitcoin. Went all the way to 69,000. Didn't he tell me at like 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000? And so when they see that it falls, it makes them feel smarter to call you stupid.
Yeah.
And so they're happy, like, yeah, Bitcoin, right? Isn't that what it's called? Bitcoin? Like, well, actually, we're up 130% over year here.
Yeah, we took profits the entire time. That's how I got this brand new house and car. But hey, that's despite the point. Guys, there's so many bullish catalysts that we have actually covered on the show. But the one we're going to be covering primarily today is Elon Musk announcing something known as X Payments. So if you guys don't know what X Payments is, guys, this is going to be a universal platform very similar to WhatsApp, which is going to be where you get to buy, sell, trade your crypto, your stocks. You're going to be able to message your friends, send your voice messages, upload to Twitter, upload your content all in one place, have your fidelity, have everything in one place. That is the purpose of the X app that he wants to launch one day. X Payments is the next step into that integration of the overall X universe that he wants to build.
I heard when you send the payment button, it does a ow noise. X gonna give it to you. Come on, man.
Dude, okay. I actually now get the song. Was that a Britney Spears? Just kidding.
He's walking around.
Oh, he loves it. He loves it. He loves it.
Right,
what is that? DM? No. You gotta give it to
DMX.
That is DMX.
Yes, he got caught smoking crack in an airport parking lot when he was stealing cars.
Dude, I was stuck in a private Christian school from 3rd grade to 7th grade, and then finally got into public school. So I missed the OG music.
You know what? Chat appreciated that joke. If you appreciate that joke, please hit that.
They're gonna
like
go
button,
no way.
Make me feel like it didn't land on deaf
When was
ears.
that song released? Should we do that?
X gonna give it to you. I mean, that's like 06 if I had to
Someone
guess.
put it in the chat.
Someone put it in the chat. They're gonna be like, man, this guy's a child here. But speaking of child activities, those do not take place on X, guys. Do not I have no transition there. I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to get me out of this.
Doge gonna give it to you. Doge
is gonna give it to me real hard. Real hard. So check out this interview with Ben Shapiro. Yes, some of you are probably gonna shake your head, and he's gonna talk really quick about the announcement here that Elon Musk has, though, with Ben Shapiro in this. Now, I'm going to unplug this from the PC. We're going to test this so that way we can actually both listen to this at the same time from the screen in front of us, not zooming in all the way.
No.
Here you go.
What does that actually look like?
I just mean all the things that you would want to use online. China has WeChat, which is, you kind of live on your WeChat in China. So you buy things on WeChat, you post, text, audio, video to various feeds. Payments. It's sort of like everything. So I want to try to have an app that at least allows you to do everything on X. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can.
So I know the explanation there was very detailed, very, very detailed there. But actually, before we go further to the cryptos that he's going to be pumping, 2002. I'm sorry, guys. I was maybe 4 years old.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit later, but yeah, I guess it was one of the earlier songs because I think he first hit the scene in 99.
Oh.
So it was about 3 years into his career there.
But speaking of the altcoins that Elon Musk wants to pump, guys, and absolutely give it to you, is going to be some rumors. We have to clarify this. There's rumors. There's projects and cryptos that he has talked about. There's also cryptos that he's bought. And that's exactly what we're going to see here. So Elon Musk is giving his current view on the first subject here. This was from the Wall Street Journal a little bit earlier this year about Dogecoin. So if you hold a Dogecoin at this point is, yes, it's a meme coin, but there is some utility aspect to it. One, it's been around for a decade at this point. It really just
you can buy Dallas Mavericks merch.
Wow,
and there's probably other things.
That's bullish. It's bullish, right? Maybe you'll be able to use it in Mark Cuban's new city that he purchased.
Hey,
right?
Mark Cuban, a seed investor in Book.io. We gave you that call under a penny. It's 2.5 cents right now, so nice little pump for you.
But we got another quick little clip right here.
Are you still a fan of crypto?
Well. Right there.
Okay.
Don't bet on Dogecoin.
He's telling me to bet my farm.
Maybe you should, but let me advise you. That would be perhaps unwise.
Okay.
So, Dogecoin is my sort of favorite cryptocurrency because it has the best humor and has dogs.
So doggy coins and humor is the integration here on X. Now, besides the memes, okay, we know Tesla obviously still holds a mass amount of Bitcoin. They haven't sold off any of it actually in the last quarter. I think they hold $435 million. Yeah,
they haven't sold any since their last sale 2 years ago, I think, at this point. Yeah, maybe almost pushing 3.
They're holding through. So a Bitcoin integration almost seems inevitable at this point. They also allowed to purchase it for their cars at one point, but then said there was an energy issue, which we all saw what happened in 2021 with that. Now they're starting to backtrack on that. Dogecoin is, of course, going to be the second possible altcoin there that does get that integration. Maybe there's a Shiba. It does sound like that he's just very into the humor and the Dogecoin overall. But again, keep an eye on Dogecoin specifically. But there is 2 altcoins that I'm going to share with you guys as well that a lot of people are speculating on. And this is actually another video from Altcoin Daily, but it just goes over our Dogecoin again here. And that is going to be the connections that Ripple and Stellar's founder, Jed McCaleb, has to Elon Musk. Now, this is going to be a stretch. Okay, I'm not going to say this is hot. I'd say the likelihood of this is very, very unlikely. But a lot of the crypto
XRP community member will take this as a given.
Probably a given to $10,000 here. But I do want to point out the connections here so you guys know what they're talking about here. Is Jed McCaleb, if you guys don't know, he was a co-founder of Ripple, and then he left, sold all of his XRP, and built Stellar. At the same time, though, he developed a company known as Vast, which just partnered with SpaceX. So they're actually going to be helping them launch their first space station or something that they're shooting in literally to outer space within the next few years. But that is where that overlay there is. So the connection here, are they going to be integrating every single crypto token that has an X in it? So XLM, XRP, XDC, I'm not necessarily going to be in that route. But of course, there's a lot of speculation and there is connection directly to Jed McCaleb. So I kind of want to get to your thoughts on that. Do you think XRP or XLM are going to be integrations to this platform, or do you think Elon Musk would just use Dogecoin, Bitcoin on his own?
I'm going to choose a new angle on why this is a possibility. And it is, do you know where Ripple Labs is based out of?
San Francisco?
Yes, it is. It is based out of San Francisco. It's also, a lot of people have shares in Ripple Labs that work in Silicon Valley. Maybe there's going to be a little bit of overlap between people who work at X, or maybe people who have ownership stakes in X, because Elon, he doesn't own 100% of it. It is a private company, but other people own X shares. Maybe there's a little bit of an overlap of a whale that maybe has a little bit of Ripple Labs equity and maybe a little bit of equity in X, and then they may be that person whispering that devil, add XRP, add XRP, add XLM. I think it's that would be my most bullish angle. You're going to have just someone who has a little bit of overlap with both companies.
Yeah, and I think there could be a lot of narrative and hype that falls into that. Now, the fifth crypto, okay, guys. So we have Bitcoin, we have Dogecoin, we have the somewhat connections with Ripple and Stellar through Jed McCaleb. The last one, I couldn't find the video because it's a very, very long interview with Sergey Nazarov. Now, shout out to my Link Marines here. He actually talked about multiple times in an interview. I have to go find it. Looks like Altcoin Daily speaks about it here. I know it was in some video that I saw a while ago, but potentially an integration with oracles and the play of on-chain through Chainlink itself. So Chainlink is going to be that fifth potential altcoin. But no matter what, guys, Elon Musk is bullish on crypto. He's talked about it a bit multiple times. He wants to integrate this everything app. He wants cross-border payments. He is completely kind of against PayPal and then everything they left, like everything with OpenAI and everything. He wants to be his own competitor. So I would not be at all shocked if he actually started integrating quite a few different cryptocurrencies. So let us know in the comments what you guys are going to believe. I'm going to tell you this right now. Comment on this video the cryptos you believe are going to list on Twitter. You can't put Bitcoin or Dogecoin or Ethereum, though. We're going to leave those three out. I think those are almost all a guarantee. But if you guess which cryptos are, I will promise you, we will come back to this video. Everybody who guessed the cryptos right that are going to get listed first, each of you are going to win $25. So make sure you guys go leave a comment down below.
I want to reply to Knucklebuster. We're saying, we're telling you to buy while we take profits. If anything, I should take profits more heavily and more greedily than I do. I ride things up. Like book was 0.009 cents. It went all the way up to 3 and some change. I was looking at a 3.5x. I haven't taken any profit. I just wrote it down. I'm still saying it's a good buy because to me, I do think it is a good buy at 2.5 cents. I think Cardano's a good buy at 50 cents. I don't think you're going to get rich buying Bitcoin and holding it forever. Maybe you'll get a lot of X's. You'll definitely beat inflation, but that's not how you're going to change your life. It's going to be getting into some of these emerging narratives, emerging strong projects, and we're just trying to lead you to that direction. But you know what? If you feel like we should say take profits more often, I will agree with you 14 months from now. I don't think now is the time for aggressive profit taking.
Yeah, I mean, I was selling like 2 weeks ago live on stream. I was like, all right, we got to get out of this. We got to get out of this.
I should have sold more. You were right.
I wanted to pull the partnership here because it's 2025. So actually, Vash, Jed McCaleb, who's the founder of Stellar Lumens, guys, with XLM, he's going to be launching a school bus-sized space station into orbit by late 2025. So within a year and a half or 2 years at this point, they're going to be shooting a giant space station bus to the atmosphere.
Love it.
We have commodity
Doesn't
experts.
the other one stink? The International Space Station, doesn't it stink at this point?
I mean,
because once a smell is introduced in that ecosystem, it's stuck forever.
Really?
Yes.
Are you being like,
I'm being for real. I am being for real.
So the BO,
it's because it's a closed ecosystem.
Oh, interesting.
And the filtration system. Yeah, in a perfect world, it would just filter forever, right?
Why not
you'd replace your filters. You just go to Costco and replace your space station filter.
I feel like they should just poke a hole in it and let all the air get sucked out and then just close the hole and then put new air in. Not that easy. In space,
maybe
you can't do that.
Maybe it's an issue. Maybe you have to recycle.
Why don't we could just like run a hose from Earth to the
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
That's what we got to do. We just got to get a long hose.
Flat earthers are like
H-bar versus ARB, better gains. I think ARB in the short term. I think there's going to be a large pullback with the March sell-off. There's hundreds of millions of dollars of ARB hitting the ecosystem in 2 months. I don't think all of it will sell. I think less than half will sell. I still think it'll be a head down. So H-bar will be a better play for a short period. Long-term Arbitrum. That's my guess.
Yeah, I'd have to agree directly with that. Arbitrum is doubling their supply in March. So if we are anticipating a recession, there's a pullback, anything like that, it could see a lot of downwards action. But honestly, after that unlock, I think Arbitrum long-term is going to outpace H-bar by a mile just because it's a smaller market cap, I believe. Let me actually double check that. It might be about the same. H-bar.
While he looks that up, there is mold growing in the ISS. I know there's a whole thing about that one astronaut sabotaging so they could be sent back. I don't know what is true and what is not true. It seems pretty valid, but who knows?
That's disgusting. It's just mold. It's like cockroaches in space somehow. Like, whoa, hey, yo, let's chill out here. But Arbitrum and H-bar actually, guys, have very similar market caps. They're about the same exact size. But I'm just going to be real. Like, as an H-barbarian myself, I've held H-bar for a very, very long time.
I hold both.
I bought it like 2-3 cents, sold a lot at 50 cents. It went up to like 70 cents in the bull run, whatever the all-time high was. But Arbitrum is a newer project. And the reality is, guys, just like Polygon MATIC ended up being one of the leaders, it was a newer project. Layer 2s were kind of the hot thing of 2021. I believe a lot of these newer modular systems that are utilizing ZKs and just faster, more scalable, etc., can do really well. So after that unlock, honestly, I'm going to say they'll say in the longer term, Arbitrum probably still outperforms. But hey, diversifying is always what matters most. And I still do like Hedera quite a bit. So that's what we'll put there.
Technique. 1 hour after the show, I anticipate markets to crash another leg down. Well, I closed that long in profit. So if you're trading alongside with me, go ahead. Make sure that stop loss was in profit. We continued the streak, everybody. The streak of green trades continues.
Well, I'm going to do it live right here. I'm going to pull up Blofin. I'm going to transfer all of my money and refinance my home and go short because of that comment. So shout out.
Back to the space station. Yeah, we're pretty bullish on this. And to me, this is just kind of leading into what I was saying. There's going to be people who have equity in both a Elon company and Ripple Labs or a Ripple Labs adjacent startup. And so, I expect them to whisper in his ear and say, put XRP on the list, put XRP on the list. It's a strong community. I do think it'll happen. And I got a video coming out, I think tonight, 5 reasons why XRP could potentially 10x this year. A lot of analysts are saying XRP will 10x this year. I'm going to tell you the 5 reasons, what I think about the 5 reasons, and then my actual price target. So make sure you have on notifications for that XRP video later on. What do we got next?
Yeah, we got some analysts comparing Bitcoin to gold, of course, saying that we might be approaching a commodity recession, which generally is it's the opposite of what's taking place in the stock market. So stock market's going to continue to perform. And then saying Bitcoin's lagging performance here versus gold since 2021 peak, despite the record-setting U.S. stock market, may pretend crypto catch-up or recession leanings. My bias is the latter and the chart. So, kind of saying that we're going to be on a downward traction here, maybe to 30, is that 3,500? He's got S&P, Bitcoin / gold class. So maybe a little bit of a deviation there. But overall, again, I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. We've covered that quite a bit here. Bitwise Bitcoin ETF receives Bitcoin donations following transparency move. This is just another sign for these giant asset management companies, guys, with their ETFs. I think you're going to see a lot more marketing, a lot more incentives for their financial advisors to promote this to their clients, to allocate maybe 0.025% of their portfolio or 1% of their portfolio over into Bitcoin. That's, of course, bullish. We have Bitcoin, though. Sorry, Canadians, guys. If you're Canadian in chat, I am sorry. What is happening with Trudeau? Do you guys actually like Trudeau? Is this guy just like... is he a pawn? Is he a putt? Like, let me know what's happening with Trudeau up there. Cause it seems so authoritarian, just looking from an outside perspective. I have obviously my own beliefs, but I want to know your guys' thoughts first. Bitcoin donation freeze was unlawful. Canada judge rules. So Justice Richard Mosley said Trudeau's administration acted outside their authority, once again, by invoking the Emergencies Act in February 2022. Ottawa acted against the Constitution when it froze Bitcoin and other assets in an attempt to end 2022 anti-government protests, a federal judge ruled Tuesday. The Canadian government will appeal the decision, and Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland said, that's what she actually said. In February 15th of 2022, they had a statement where Trudeau said that the Emergencies Act was his only option as the country had reached a point where there is a national emergency arising from threats to Canada's security. So yeah, I'm honestly, I just want to get your guys' thoughts in the chat here. Are you guys a fan of Trudeau? Are you guys tired of your accounts being frozen and demanded by the government just, based off what they believe is right, just because it's their policies? We'll leave it at that. I think we've covered the truckers and everything plenty in the past with the Trudeau. So, man,
it's a good rhyme. F Trudeau. He's got to go. I would definitely.
I like that
you
one.
can see that chant picking up some legs at a
Son of Satan.
I didn't even read the name.
Wow.
Oh, wow. No, Pacos. All right. Yeah, that's a strong one. All right. We do have some bullish news on the sovereign front. Speaking of sovereign nations, Honduras adopts Bitcoin as official currency for transactions. And this is coming off the heels of other news. This move comes in on Honduras, comes just days after Argentina's newly formed government ratified confirmed Bitcoin as a valid contract currency. This is going to be a little bit of a test pilot. This isn't the same thing as El Salvador. This is going to be in the Prospera economic zone. And it's just going to be one of the many unit of accounts there. But it is a step in the right direction. And if they do have just a total collapse financially in that country, as we move towards a bull run, I could see them flocking towards Bitcoin. Imagine you live in a pretty poor country, and there's this one city that all of a sudden adopted this orange coin. And your currency is devaluing. And you go to buy a gallon of milk, the next week it's 10% higher, and you're like, this is not sustainable. But then you look at that golden city, and they're like buying Lamborghinis, and the rent's being paid for, and they have all these yield, and it's just things are being awesome. Like, yeah, $10 this week, and then next week it's $14, and you're like, well, I had $10 last week, and this week it's $7. Maybe we should adopt Bitcoin. I'm pretty bullish on this this direction that Honduras is heading.
I would have to 100% agree. I think second and third world countries, they're obviously going to be the first and main adopters, and that's where we're going to see a lot of like, Southeastern Asia is going to be a huge demand, as well as South America. Americans, I feel like the United States just tries to act like they control everything, even though it's not really affecting our lives as much as pretty much everybody else in the world. So yeah, I would have to completely agree with you. You have Gensler here, speaking of people thinking that they own the world and should just build every void of regulation. Gary Gensler, SEC brought 46 crypto-related enforcements in 2023. So it brought 46 crypto-related enforcements here, guys. Since 2013, the agency has brought a total of 173 enforcement actions to crypto entities, with 2023 representing a new record high. They're just getting quicker with it. 61% of the actions, guys, allege that the entity violated securities laws. How many of those have they actually won? Not too many. Though 57% alleged fraud under either the Securities or Exchange Act. Now, the SEC brought $2.89 billion worth of penalties against crypto market participants by the end of 2023, with settlements topping, guys, $281 million. So Gary Gensler he's making some bank right now, just completely fear-mongering people and enforcing those actions. You have China here today, guys. Central bank set to cut banks RRR next month to boost economy. Now, I don't know if you guys follow.
Reserve requirement ratio.
Yes, sir. So what we're looking at here is a reduction that's going to essentially stimulate the flow of 1 trillion yuan, or approximately like $140 billion in long-term liquidity to the market. So this is obviously, guys, China's been struggling. The real estate market's been struggling for the last decade. They overbuilt and overdeveloped nonstop, and then we couldn't start. We weren't allowed to audit them. There's so many issues with something called their local government financial vehicles. I really recommend you look into that on the state level, where the CCP came and it just started really stepping on everybody. Who would have thought an authoritarian country or figure not allowing people to do what they should in a free market? So ultimately what this led up to, guys, is this catalyst of an event where China's been really, really struggling, and they have never printed. They do not like printing money. The government does not want to give anybody, any retailer, money. So in COVID, no money, right? No bailout. And so we're starting to see these cuts and reduce the amounts of all these mechanisms that they've set up that could cause a pretty large inflow into a lot of their markets and help prop it up. So this is bullish in the sense that we could start seeing, because obviously if you guys don't know this, China's yuan and the dollar are usually opposite effect. So when China is pumping, the US dollar is dropping, and that's usually, a good sign for markets, because when the US dollar drops, stocks go up, etc. So, what we're looking at from this is a possible inflow of just a lot of money into our markets. And if Hong Kong launches a spot Bitcoin ETF, what I want to point out here is these individuals, everybody in China right now, it's not even just China, it's kind of the whole world. We all feel the same. They are going to want to take their money and to put it into a store of value. They're not going to want to buy a 5th or a 6th or a 7th property, right? A lot of these other countries that rely on China and their yuan, if they have inflation, they're not going to want to rely on the yuan again. So they're going to start, again, I think, transitioning more to Bitcoin or a digital currency that is decentralized here. So a CNBC report notes that PAN-led central bank administration may be considering further monetary policy easing. Economic metrics released last week showed the world's second largest economy grew 5.2% in 2023, about in line with analyst expectations. So again, I kind of already covered all the COVID and everything with Beijing. That's bullish for market conditions.
Well, speaking of Beijing, we have a Chinese-born citizen, CZ. He's Canadian. I know, but he was born in China. Judge blocks CZ travel to UAE. Despite, he already extradited himself. He willingly came to America. He didn't have to. He could have spent the rest of his life in UAE. Trust me, he has enough funds to, live out an awesome lifestyle. He did not have to extradite himself. He did not have to put himself at that risk, because if you're connected to the elites and you get locked up in an American jail, bad things can happen.
They don't change your security guards or break cameras, and you don't just, off yourself.
Yeah, no, nothing like that ever happened. So judge blocked the travel to UAE despite offer to use his equity in Binance as security. He's like, well, some people hey, I'll put up $1 million. I'll put up $5 million. I will put up $4.5 billion worth of equity, which is probably going to be worth $15 billion just 12 months from now. They said, no, that is not good enough, and they denied his chance to go travel. He wanted to travel to see the hospitalization and surgery of an unnamed individual in Abu Dhabi. Can we just, if we had to guess, who is this person? I'm going to say it's his mom. I'm just going to say it's his mom. It's probably just wanting to go see his mom have surgery. Maybe his dad or something. I think it's an elder family member. The hospitalization.
Read the line one more time.
He requested that he be allowed to travel to the UAE so he could be present for the hospitalization and surgery of an unnamed individual in Abu Dhabi.
I would, yeah, exactly. So I wanted to double just touch on that because I would have to agree with you. You know, I don't think ZZ's a bad person whatsoever. Did he do bad things to start with? But whereas the company compared to where it was earlier on in its career? No, I think honestly, I would have to agree with you.
I don't even think he did bad things to start with.
Well, I think he did questionable things to start with. That's why he is where he is today. Now owes $4.5 billion.
You got to look at the motivation. So his motivation was to capture the highest market share of the crypto industry. And you could say, well, what is his motivation underlying that? Is it, well, I just want to be the richest person in the world, or I want to give the most amount of people financial freedom. And to me, you know, you can break a few eggs if that's the omelet you're trying to make.
Yeah, so what I hear from that is he focused on growth over compliance, and the compliance is what's going to ultimately hurt the retailer.
But again, I
don't either. Right? I don't have a problem with it either. I think, you know, because who's the person that wants to stand up and instead of focus on making tons of money that they know they can make, especially being the world's leading exchange, and go, you know what? We're going to do the right thing and try to slowly go against the U.S. government, which has no jurisdiction over us, and fight for these people so that way they can do IDOs and whatnot.
And not only that, Binance would get called by, they would get called by the US DOJ, and they'd be like, hey, that wallet, ISIS is using it. And they'd be like, oh, okay, we'll freeze it for you.
Yeah,
you know, they were complying.
There was compliant. That's what I'm saying. So I think, you know, I just want CZ out at this point. I don't think he'll ever unblock me, but I would love him to just launch his DeSci project so we can all be happy to make a ton of money. But we have Tornado Cash trial fundraiser bags, $350,000 and Snowden support. So we kind of covered this already a little bit yesterday. There was a video going out. The Tornado Cash guys that are in prison want to help raise funds for their legal battles. I don't think they're going to get out of jail anytime soon. They've kind of been used as the examples. Crypto phishing attacks here, guys, are everywhere. It might not get any better anytime soon. This article, we don't necessarily need to drop into massively right now, but I just want to quickly remind everybody, guys, if you're in crypto, there was just the world's largest data leak ever with 26 billion accounts. Yes, 26 billion accounts being affected. I made videos on this on both the Instagram and everything as well. But you guys want to change those passwords. If you're somebody that hasn't changed your passwords since middle school, okay, zoom in on my face here. We need to be real, one-on-one. If you haven't changed your password since middle school or high school, or you use the same password that is your dog's name and your damn birth date, change your password, guys. That is not cool at all. It hasn't been cool since 2008. So make sure you guys are diversifying those passwords, changing them once in a while, and making sure you guys, you know, are just secure with like 2FA. Don't be like the SEC here. And yeah, that's really what I have to say on that.
Let's talk a little coin stock. You know, I was pretty public with my coin stock. I guess I sold it, so you know I took profits on that. So I don't know if that makes me, you know, a bad person.
How dare you make money? How dare you?
How dare I? And you know, I was totally transparent and urge other people to follow me. Why Coinbase stock is undervalued, explains Pomp Investments founder Anthony Pompliano, and the reason is he has a big bag of it. No. I think we saw a correction in Bitcoin. We're down to what, 20 some odd % at this point. And then Coinbase stock, let's just actually look here and we can see, is the retracement stronger than Bitcoin or weaker than Bitcoin? If we go to the 1 month chart here, oh, wow. So 186 to 120, it is down 30% in the past month. Whereas Bitcoin, if we just go here, we're all doing this live and we love it here. Bitcoin on the 30-day is down 6%. So we have Bitcoin down 6%, Coinbase down 30%. And you just look at those numbers. Yeah, it feels definitely undervalued at this moment. I sold a bunch, got some hood. I got hood stock. And let's just see over the last 30 days. Oh, I was about to say, well, I'm way up. I'm still up. So that fell 30%, whereas this one only fell 17%. So I got a little bit of a gain there, relatively speaking.
Yeah, and I would actually have to agree. I think it's incredibly undervalued because, guys, I keep talking about this, the Coinbase effect. Like, let's be real. I get it. People ask me this question every day. What's your thoughts on LCS? What's your thought on crypto.com? What's your thought on some random exchange? Guys, if Coinbase wins this lawsuit against the SEC, which the judge does seem to be favoring them immensely, and a lot of analysts are projecting a 70, 80, and 90% win rate at this point. If they come out on top of this, man, that is the first regulated exchange by definition that is listed on the stock market. Every crypto in the world is going to want to be listed there. That is where most of your clients and retailers are going to access because it's going to be essentially, again, that most regulated, secured exchange out there. Now, I do want to recommend, also the fact that Coinbase does one thing that most of us do not, and that is pay their taxes, guys. Pay your taxes. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys go down below. It is completely free. There's no excuse at this point. There's no excuse to change your password. There's no excuse to not schedule your free consultation, guys, with decrypted.tax. The link's in the description. Go click on it, right click on it, open it up in your window, and make sure you leave it there. Stop procrastinating. Do it today or you will regret it later. On top
Crypto Glass Works has a question. Should I sell my coin stock for IBIT, which is BlackRock's Bitcoin shares? I think coin is going to gain oversized relative to Bitcoin. And then I think at the top, you need to swap that coin stock to IBIT if you don't feel like cashing out.
And I feel like, because you gotta remember, BlackRock also owns Coinbase. So when they're like advising to their clients, like what you should pick up, I'm going to say this. I think IBIT over the next few months I don't know if it's now, I don't know if it's in 3 months, I don't know if it's in 3 days or 3 weeks. That is something I do believe will outperform over time. You have to remember, guys, when these ETFs launch for gold drops for like 3 to 6 months. So again, same thing with Bitcoin. I do think it's not going to be the same amount of time because of where internet is at, how markets analyze now. It's completely different from 2004. But I do believe that IBIT and stuff will perform good. I believe coin will perform really well. I believe Bitcoin miners will perform really well. That's kind of my personal opinion.
Speaking of picking up cash, who literally picks up cash? Like the big armored trucks.
Specific people that they like these vertical poles. They often are picking up cash.
No, that's a different one. I see where you're going with that one.
It's our second job.
It was almost my second job when I was growing up.
Magic Mike.
No, I wasn't in that position. I was in a different position. But no, BitGo is delighted to partner with Brinks. Brinks is now getting into the crypto game. I don't know how soon they're going to transition to two elderly gentlemen guarding money with guns into two nerdy dudes in a basement send.
Okay.
But I do think Brinks knows, just like we all know, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, maybe it's 20 years from now, we do want to fight it. We do want to push it out. There's eventually going to be a point where when you go to a store and pulling out this folded, crumpled, dirty rectangle is not going to be a thing anymore. And we're in that world, Brinks is out of business. So Brinks has to pivot, and they're pivoting to crypto. I think that's a good sign. It's a sign of things to come. At the end of the day, a lot of companies know, we go out of business if we don't pivot to the future of finance. And sometimes it's even a company like GameStop will be like, oh God, we better pivot to Web3. We're dying over here. We're going to see more and more of that. I love this story.
Yeah, they're really, GameStop might be praying for Wall Street Bets to come back as well. But yeah, no, really, really good story. And I'd just to say, never pull out a rectangular object if you guys are pulled over. Please just don't do that.
Oh, no. So if I get pulled over, the cop, he rolls up to my window. I try to, the cops have time that's valuable. And so I go, here you go. That's how I give my wallet.
It's like I have a friend that is on TikTok. He did it with the Bible. He's like, when you tell the police, I'm just trying to get to my youth group. Like he's like pulls out a little terrible joke. All right, SEC delays decision timeline for BlackRock's proposed spot Ethereum ETF to March. This was kind of as expected. I saw a few creators out there like, we predicted this one. Again, when James Seifert and Eric Balchunas were saying this months and months ago, they're like, yeah, it's probably going to postpone. It got postponed. I think you should, kind of default to that. So, again, this ETF was proposed for March. It is going to be, I think it is postponed here. Let me scroll down here. The Securities and Exchange Commission delayed its decision, on timeline on BlackRock's proposal for a spot Ethereum ETF exchange traded fund to March, according to the filing. So now there's speculation around March. I think still a lot of the analysts are saying June it is still more likely than coming before that Bitcoin halving, still a few months out. However, Hester Pierce, I forgot to pronounce her last name, one of the 5 commissioners for the SEC, does believe that the SEC, obviously has no court case that they need to go off of on this. They can't be sued for this. Like it's going to pass at this point. Or they have to tell, I think, the court judge in the Coinbase case, the court judge literally said, hey, you labeled every crypto other than Bitcoin not a security. You either need to tell us why, or that is probably going to get thrown out. So we are months away from one of the most bullish opportunities in crypto with the 4-year cycle, with the Bitcoin halving, guys. We have the ETF funds. We're getting clarity. Institutions and asset managers are here. And now retail is being fudded out. Is anybody putting this together, or is it just me? I feel like that is the missing piece right there. Do not get fudded out of these markets, guys, or they're just going to take advantage of us over and over again. And of course, speaking of taking advantage of us, Ethereum whales accumulate over $64 million in Ethereum in a single day amid price decline. Guys, the whales, the institutions, They're doing this. The ETF speculation, they're doing this. And retailers starting to get fanicky. They're starting to panic. They're starting to say, oh, 20K, I'm going to wait till $15,000 Bitcoin. It feels just like when FTX collapsed and everyone said it was going to go to 3K, 9K, 12K, completely wrecked everybody because they didn't want a dollar cost average. And then now, then we went to 25K. They were in disbelief. They're like, DZ, it's not going to go to 4. It's not. We're not in a bull run. This has to go back to 15K. It's just like the people that say they make fun of you the entire bear market. And at the top, they go, hey, I've actually been thinking about buying that Ethereum. Is it now a good time? You're like, dude, it's pumped 400%. Do not text me that. It's going to just infuriate me. So,
hey, Josh.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'll settle down. Settle down.
No, I love it. I love the energy. For the viewers playing at home.
Yeah.
When people buy, price go up, but price not go up.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain in monkey language why price not go up when all that ETH is buy?
Yes. If friend who know no financial tell you go up, don't buy. That's about as basic as we can get. So guys, this is common. I recommend this book, Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. I'll pull it up in just a second for you. Read chapter 8. It is Psychology of the Markets. If you read that chapter, that book, you should read the whole book because it doesn't matter if you're 17, 64, 27 with $400,000 debts or 8 children at 29 years old. There's going to be a chapter in that book for you on, kind of where you should look at as a defensive or an aggressive investor. The second book is Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. Okay, that's going to teach you how to really see through all of the grifters that are online and on the internet. I'm going to be honest with you, 95% of these influencers and creators out there, guys, they're just complete grifters. They're going to say, hey, I'm a millionaire, and then charge you $1,000 a month for a course. I just saw an influencer do that.
The amount of videos I've seen where it's like guy rents supercar and tells everybody he owns it.
I got this. Yeah. This is the look, guys. My Louis Vuitton.
Yeah,
bro.
That's it.
I went to Dubai and did a bunch of illegal shit, so you should listen to me. It's like, dude, no, like.
Or yeah, they'll tell you actual felonies. Yeah, get a loan from your bank and lie on the form. You're like, that's not a good strategy.
Yeah,
you shouldn't do that.
It's not actually your car. It's my Lamborghini now. So we're gonna go ahead and say my answer to that question. Sorry, we're segueing so hard. Is guys, it's the emotion. That's the best way to look at this. If everybody is greedy, if everybody is saying buy, and you're starting to get this FOMO, this emotional reaction, that generally is when you should start to step back and say, okay, I really need to analyze this. When everybody is screaming sell, it's all red. That's when you traditionally want to start looking to buy it. And that is the Warren Buffett, every great investor in the world, going to say buy when it's low, sell high. And that sounds way easier said than done. So what were we going to point out here in the chat?
Well, someone said, how do I buy Vita DAO? This is a project that Josh put on my radar. Let me just spell you through the process. This will work for every coin. So if you're wondering, people say these awesome altcoins, and then I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to buy. I'm going to give you this one tip, and it'll solve your problem forever. You can use CoinMarketCap. I'm going to use CoinGecko for this purpose. You type in the coin, it's Vita DAO, and you click here, and then you're going to see a tab, and it's on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. You click Markets, and it will tell you how to buy it. So I bought mine via Uniswap, and if you go to Uniswap, you can click this. It will take you to the trading pair, but you want to make sure you have the contract address. So you would click right here, and that'll give you the contract address, because sometimes it will take you to MetaMask. I don't think this wallet has a MetaMask. All right, yeah, I understand. And then if that didn't work, you could just paste the address, and it will give you Vita DAO there. So boom, there's your little tip on how to buy any token.
Yeah, and I'm going to show the books right here really quick, because I know everybody's going to ask. So The Richest Man in Babylon, guys, this is literally 170-something pages. It's a small book. You can read it in a day if you wanted to. That will, I promise you, be able to let you analyze and say, okay, this person's lying to me, this person's not. Great, fantastic book. Gives you 10 secrets on how to store your wealth, essentially. The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham is just still to this day my favorite book I've ever read. I have it on my desk. I've listened to it now on Audible twice. Just a fantastic book. Because again, it doesn't matter what age you are. If you're scared, if you don't know where to get started, great, fantastic book. I have no links. You could just go look them up, guys. And those are your shout outs here today.
There was one altcoin story I definitely want to make sure we hit. Well, two, because there's a Cardano one. We got to talk about the Cardano one. I'm jumping ahead to the telecom giant here. Telecom giant. This is huge because we have so many people that like helium and HNT. Some have miners. Some just hold the token. Telecom giant Telefonica launches Solana-powered helium mobile hotspots. So Nova Labs has teamed up here to deploy the wireless hotspots, which are incentivized with crypto tokens on Solana in Mexico. So they've teamed up with a fairly large telecom provider in Mexico. I would say, yeah, it's pretty bullish. I'm not saying they're going to sign a deal with Verizon tomorrow, but this is a step in that direction. And if we saw some sort of headline like that, I would expect massive pumps from H&T. And off of this news right here, helium is down. Helium's down 2.6%.
It's been zoom out though on helium, right? H&T has been pumping, I think, hard though for the last few months. So
here's where the one whale learned about the news.
Yeah, look at that.
And then that's when they sold.
The $1.51 was like just straight up. Yeah, so helium's going to follow that the DPIN category, the decentralized physical infrastructure, which we're going to be dropping a whole video on. You guys can understand it because the utility is very much needed. Other than that, you got Polygon plans, ag layer, and bid to synthesize modular monolithic blockchains.
What the hell does that even mean?
Doesn't matter. Bullish money's coming in, guys. Seriously, they're going to be another word in 3 months to 6 months, 8 years, whatever it is. But the point is, generally, when you see mass upgrades, Polygon 2.0 is coming out. You get a lot of investments coming into the market, and the founder talks about that all the time. Other than that, you said you had one Cardano one with the smart contract skyrocketing by almost 10,000.
Yeah. Smart contracts skyrocket by almost 10,000. And we covered this. We covered this on Around the Blockchain. So go watch last night's episode. Not only that, we give you some alpha on some hot Cardano tokens. What are you going to say? What's the question?
I was going to say, because there's the midnight drama going around. Is this really just you with the super PCs and the basement we have here, just issuing 10,000 different smart contracts, or was this
it's all BJ actually. BJ, he's trying to make an NFT out of his little thumb thing for his base.
How to make 10,000 screw 10,000 NFTs. I'm gonna make that smart contract. No, that's awesome.
But yeah, there was a little bit of drama in the Midnight. There's a snub. Cardano community frustrated with the fact that Midnight did not mention the network in its most recent thread. Midnight is being developed. It's a data protection. Think a little privacy being built on Cardano. And then they did a post and they didn't mention Cardano. So they're very, very mad at them. That's just some ruffled feathers in crypto. Nothing new there.
So I'm going to show really quick. The last article I want to cover is this one right here. Not that one. The gaming tokens, because this is a sector I'm so bullish on. I love Web3 gaming.
Bullish.
So bullish. I'm so bullish on this sector. Ultimately, guys, I truly believe Web3 gaming is going to be massive. It's just probably the most volatile industry because everybody wants to be a gamer. Everybody wants to be a game developer. Everybody thinks they're going to build the next best, Fortnite, the next Call of Duty. And the reality is their idea sucks. So, gaming is just that category where you got to treat it like a venture capital. And coming from 2 Twitch streamers, I'm telling you guys, I have seen entire not decentralized, but new social media platforms launched by like Facebook, which was called Mixer. And they had billions of dollars in funding. And they're like, we're going to create the next Twitch. And they failed, and they literally purchased the top streamers. So same thing with games. These games have to not only create an immersive, addicting reality, they have to create also in crypto an immersive, addicting, or a sustainable economy with tokenomics. So you're trying to do like the two impossibles and combine them together. However, gaming tokens have been rebounding. You had Ronin jumping a little bit. Beam's been one of the top movers though this last year. If you just look back, it went from about 0.0045 cents. It's up like 400% at this point. You have Immutable X, IMX as well, which had, I think, a massive partnership with TikTok not too long ago, but starting to get some steam again in this last year. I think the largest gaming ecosystem, though, is Polygon MATIC. So definitely start testing the waters there. I have some alpha for you guys. It's not even out yet. We're not working with this project or anything, but I'm going to say the company that's investing into gaming right now is Tencent out of China. I'm not going to say what products they are. Tencent's coming in heavy again this year, which we haven't seen in a long time. So when they start reaching out, it means money might start be flowing into that. And I'll let you guys know the ones that the influencers pump on Twitter. So
yeah, Tencent, huge company. Let's see, Tencent Glue Mobile. Yeah, they have a lot of. Okay, so they invested in Playdots, acquired by Take-Two. They invested in Glue, which was acquired by Electronic Arts. So not only are they heavily invested and got a lot of capital, they have good connections in the gaming industry as well.
And that's it. That's what we got. Last few things here. We have engine. Yeah, so NFT Web3 gaming, guys. Again, just start paying attention to it again. Just know that if you're in that ecosystem, if you're going to be, don't go all in on one game ever. I've done that in the past with Twitch streamers. Did all the time. They'll focus all of their life on one game and it ends up just ruining them. But that's what we got for today, guys. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Go check out, again, decrypted.caps tax links in the bio. More importantly, we'll see you guys in the next show.
Was that a shot of Magic the Gathering?
Yeah, it was.